What about Pangaea and the Bible? If you've read much scientific writing about the Earth's geography, you've probably heard about this supercontinent called Pangaea. Scientists suggest to us that at one time in the past, all of the continents were joined together in one great landmass. The word Pangaea is composed of two words, Pan meaning all and Gaia meaning land or earth, so the name simply means all land or all earth. What does the Bible say about this? Well, in truth, the Bible doesn't really say anything specifically about Pangaea, but the text does seem to leave room for the idea to have been a reality sometime in the past. In Genesis 1:9, during the third day of creation, the text says, "Then God said, 'Let the waters under the heavens be gathered together in one place, and let the dry land appear.' And it was so. And God called the dry land earth, and the gathering together of the waters he called seas. And God saw that it was good." Now notice that the text says that the waters were gathered together in one place. That seems to indicate that the earth was in one place as well, lending credit to the idea of Pangaea. Now, some Bible readers then flip over to Genesis 10:25, and they read this statement. "To Eber were born two sons. The name of one was Peleg, for in his days the earth was divided." That name Peleg means division, and they suggest that the earth here means the land. The continents were divided, and they think that this is a statement about Pangaea. Well, that's a slight possibility from the text. The text doesn't preclude that, but it probably is not the case. The Peleg reference is most likely talking about the division of languages at the Tower of Babel. You see, just 8 verses after Peleg is mentioned, the text says, "Now the whole earth had one language and one speech." There in Genesis 11:1. Notice that the word earth there in Genesis 11:1 is talking about the people. So Peleg was most likely alive when God confused all the languages that were scattering the people, the whole earth, around the globe. So what then about Pangaea? If there was a huge supercontinent, then the flood of Noah's day most likely disrupted it. Now, the problem with the way that Pangaea is generally presented in scientific readings and writings is that supposedly this took millions and millions of years using the idea of uniformitarianism. That idea that we can measure how fast continents are moving away from each other now, and we can extrapolate back using that same rate. And the problem with this uniformitarianism idea is that it doesn't account for the flood. If a huge global flood that broke up the foundations of the deep all over the earth actually did occur, then that would be a good answer as to how those continents could have broken up. So the idea of Pangaea, it certainly could fit into the Bible, but those millions of years of uniformitarian time, well, they simply don't. So one aspect of the idea that you'll read in scientific writings about Pangaea, that all the continents were in one place at one time in the past, probably true. The idea that it was millions and millions of years ago, not true, because it's based on uniformitarian assumptions.